Basketball is what you asked for, basketball is what we give you. It's an early test for TNT Tropang Giga and the Terrafirma Jeep. The continuation of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. These two teams debuting the TNT Tropang Giga. Of course, you have the familiar names Troy Rosario, Jason Castro, RR Pogoy. A team that has proven its wares multiple times. They go up against the Terrafirma Jeep. This is John Sulit with Coach Jong with Chico. Coach Jong, we're taking a look at the lineup of TNT.
Well, we see some changes. We see a lot of additions. They've lost some players through trades, but they've gained some players through trades. But what I see generally here are hard-working players and physical players that really fit the style of Coach Chot.
Yeah, perhaps the most important addition to that squad is the leadership of Coach Chot Reyes. And let's take a look at first, where they are coming from. Pre this return of Coach Chot, they were third in the elimination round, but were able to make it all the way to the finals in the PBA bubble.
Yes, they had a pretty good season the last time. They just not enough, but they had a very good campaign, starting 7-4 in the elimination round, beat Alaska in the quarterfinals, got to game 5 in the semifinals, and just lost to Ginebra 1-4 due to some injuries that they suffered.
Well, remember at the start of that tournament, this guy, Roger Pogoy, set multiple career highs in scoring. Ray Parks also did the same, and just so many guys were scoring crazily at the start of that PBA bubble. But like you said, when the finals came, they were hit with some injuries. And that's something they hope will not happen. Jason Castro, one of those guys. Let's talk about the guys or the team that they're going up against, the Terrafirma Jeep. And this is going to be their lineup. Some new names as well. Probably none bigger than Joshua Munzon, the top overall pick.
Well, they lost CJ Perez, but I'm sure that the Joshua Munson, who's very high on the radar list of everybody, will be able to make up for the loss of CJ Perez. And they also still have Roosevelt Adams, they have Sean McCarthy. I think they have a decent lineup, but I think they still need to have rely on their defensive and tempo in order for them to survive in this season.
You think about it and you see a lot of similarities in the games of Joshua Munzon and CJ Perez, and maybe having them on the same team, sharing the floor together, might not be the most effective thing. So maybe, the departure of CJ will do something very, very well for Joshua Munzon.
That's right. I mean, Joshua Munson is not only a slasher, but he can shoot the three also. We know CJ Perez can shoot the three, but he's more of a slasher. And I think Joshua Munson will be a great fit for Terrafirma.
And what Munzon will also try to improve is the record of the Terrafirma Jeep in the PBA bubble. They went 1-10 and, finished last. Barely made any dent in that. Teams went through different challenges entering that PBA bubble. Terrafirma, as far as I know, they weren't able really to prepare as well as other teams, just in terms of the setting and the access to facilities and all that. But they're out for vengeance here. Like you said, there's a lot of changes, drastic ones, to this team. CJ Perez, the guy who in his first and only 2 years in the league, Coach Jong, led the PBA in scoring, and now he steps out, and you welcome these three guys in Lapot, Caduelas, Rosser, and Munzon.
Well, hopefully the three guys that came in, that they acquired, will give them a better team concept or a better complementary to Roosevelt Adams, and I'm sure that Joshua Munson will be able to score. I think they'll have a little bit of a hard time scoring because they'll have a few players that just are go-to guys. But I think the other players that they do have will have to complement their scorers. Scorers like Sean McCarthy can score, Roosevelt Adams can shoot, and then we say Joshua Munson. But I think the other guys will play a very big part, like James Laput and
That's right.
Magdanuelas.
When it comes to the TNT Tropang Giga, this team has mostly retained its score through the years, save for some little changes. But then this year, they are welcoming a lot of new guys as well. Again, still keeping the core of the Castros and the Pogoys. They will be immovable in that lineup. But then, talk about the departures of Parks and Ciso, Semerad and Carey. Those guys were deep in their rotation as well.
Well, that's correct, especially the Semerads and Simon and Cisos who backed up Jason. But and then Harvey, who retired already, who's a great glue guy. But I think the guy that they will really miss most is Ray Parks because of his scoring. You know, and then things, he just finds a way to score. But the people that they acquired also can also make up for the loss of Ray Parks.
Well, that's something that we'll have to watch and see later on as these two teams, Terrafirma and TNT, debut with their new look lineups. We give you this game when we return.
PBA Philippine Cup. Our first game for today features the TNT Tropang Giga versus the Terrafirma Jeep. Let us now meet the starters first for the TNT Tropang Giga. Point guard number 13 from Cebu, Brian Herwala. Shooting guard from Talisay City, Cebu, number 16, R.R. Pogoy. Small forward from Cagayan de Oro City, number 12, Glenn Cobontin. Power forward from Cagayan Valley, number 18, Troy Rosario. And at center from Cebu, number 21, Kelly Williams. Coaching the Tropang Giga is John Reyes. Let us now meet the starters for the Terrafirma Jeep. Point guard from Mandaluyong City, number 5, Wami Changsan. Shooting guard from Pampanga, number 24, Joshua Monzon. Small forward from La Union, number 22, Matt Ganuelas Rosser. Power forward from Malay Aklan, number 10, Andreas Gahilig. And at center from Caloocan City, number 1, James Lapots. Coaching Terrafirma Jeep is John Cardell. This game will be officiated by Sherwin Pineda, Mike Gordeliza, Janine Licandro.
Here are the starters for both TNT and Terrafirma. Herwela, Pogoy, Williams, Cabuntin, and Rosario for the Tropang Giga, and then Tiongson, Laput, Kahilig, Rosser, and the top overall pick Munzon joining the 5 for Terrafirma. 2 rookies immediately for the Jeep. You know, to open their first game, Coach Jong, and as for TNT, you know, Jason Castro has really been relegated to that secondary unit, which, hey, that worked for them in the bubble.
That's good for Jason Castro come off the bench. You reserve minutes for him, so he reserves his strength. And it's always a great 6-man come off the bench that can give you instant points right away. And that's what Jason gives you off the bench. In Terrafirma, they want to see how these 2 rookies will perform right away without too much pressure.
That tip-off is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. All eyes will be on that man earlier, Joshua Munzon, again, number 1 overall pick. And even all the mock drafts had him at number 1. No one else stood a chance, Coach Joe.
That's right. The only guy that was close to beating him at the first pick was
Jamie Malonzo.
Jamie Malonzo, yes. And because he's such a great guy to look at playing, but we'll see how he performs.
There you see Munzon almost getting an assist there, but Kahilig could not finish. What do you expect with the changes in TNT coming from the system that they employed last year to what Coach Chot Reyes usually runs with his teams?
Yeah, that's a good question. Will they continue the system that Coach Dickel implemented, or will it be the style of Coach Chot? I think Coach Chot will go back to their dribble drive offense and probably keep some defensive system of Coach Dickel.
And it was reported on social media, we saw that Coach Chot is calling their style of basketball the bara-bara basketball. But, you know, I mean, you've coached under Coach Chot's leadership with Gilas, and that dribble drive was always something that was highlighted.
That's because I think it's a game. It's a game of Filipinos. It's a game of Filipinos dribble, even in the Koreans or the Asians for that matter. I will not keep it to Filipinos only because the Asians are not of the size, so they use their quickness and they use their shooting ability, and that's what Coach Chot has implemented, not only the TNT but the Gilas program.
Troy Rosario scores the first basket of this ball game.
Yet, TNT has to rely on the consistency of Troy Rosario, the scoring of Pugoy, and the role playing of the other players like defensively, Kobutin, Kelly Williams, and other point guards. They've got a lot of point guards because they're finding somebody that can really play consistently at the point guard so that Jason can, last the season.
That's right, and you take a look at this, Rosario. One thing that Troy always does is early work when he's running and he seals immediately or gets in position and he welcomes James Lapot to the PBA with that hook shot over him.
That's right. James Lapot has some size, but again, Troy Rosario has the quickness over James Lapot.
You know, Coach Jong, I'm sorry to cut you there, but over the last few months, most of these PBA players, especially the young ones, the rookies, they were only able to put in work with their skills and individual trainers. So I tried to talk to some of them, and I had some of them tell me good reviews about James Lapot. I mean, they would say he's a work in progress, but he's someone very willing to learn.
That's correct. I think he's fundamentally sound. He just doesn't have the quickness and mobility that we want nowadays from a big man.
Yeah, that's right. But do you think those can be developed?
Sure. I mean, yeah, he can work on his quickness, his agility. He can improve that. You know how big your improvement will be is a question over time. But he has to work on his skill work every day so that he becomes a skill player, not only a power player.
That's right. Well, his fellow rookie, Joshua Monzon, his first shot in the PBA was against the shot clock and it hit nothing. Here's Pugoy down the lane. I remember watching Pugoy last year in the bubble. Everyone was saying, okay, these players might be rusty, they're coming from a long break, and Pugoy just went for 40-point games.
That's right. Many games he scored really 40 points, make individual records in terms of scoring. And he doesn't only score, but he also defends. He's got great anticipating skills in stealing the ball. So, our Pugoy is such a great player.
And at that time, it's Troy Rosario getting the bucket on the reverse. This was a beautiful floater from Pugoy. We have to mention this as well, Coach Jong. The guy who made that bucket from Rosario possible, Kelly Williams, making his return. Machine Gun Kelly. It's nice to see him back.
Right. Well, we thought that he'd retire already, and then, he decided to come back, which he still can play a year or two more. And he knows his role already under Coach John Reyes because he blossomed his career under Coach Chot. So he knows what Coach Chot wants. He's more comfortable with him.
Well, Coach Chot is an 8-time PBA champion, 4 of those with TNT. A lot of those were with Kelly Williams in his lineup. 7-2 is the lead of TNT. Williams takes it from outside. That's a miss, and Lapot grabs the board.
And you need also Kelly in his leadership, his teammates respect him. He works hard.
Monzon was able to get his first points in the PBA now, but then he might need to get more for Terrafirma to get back. Kahilig strokes it from downtown over Williams.
Yeah, Kahilig, that's his forte. The three-point shot. You have to make him put the ball on the floor rather than shoot a three-point shot.
And with Andres Kahilig, maybe you can't call him a household name in the PBA, but he has been relevant. He has made damage and has helped Terrafirma in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, he knows his role. He's a spread four, and that's what his asset is to Terrafirma.
Williams misses that time. Rebound chased down by Kyungsun. They're running. Laput able to get that. Count the basket, says James. TNT was actually looking for a travel. There might have been a few steps there. Take a look at it one more time, Coach.
It looks good.
Oh, actually, yeah. I mean, we also saw Dave Marcelo asking for a charge there, but
could be a charge.
I mean, it's tough, you know, in that situation. The defensive team will always ask for a charge,
Right.
or a charge, and the offensive team will always ask for a block.
That's right. So, referee's call.
Look at this though, Coach Chong, a 6-0 blitz for Terrafirma, and they take the lead, 8-7. They get a stop as well.
Well, that's what Terrafirma should do if you want to stay in the game, is defend better. The way they're defending, James Laput knows his role, a rim-to-rim runner, and then maybe get some buckets of the transition or the secondary break. We know that TNT will shoot they're given the go signal to shoot the first open three-point shot in transition. And that's what the dribble drive is for.
Terrafirma started this game 0 for 5 from the field, and since then they have gone 3 for 4. It was Munzon, Kahilig, and Lapot all scoring. This guy, Kobuntin, he came from Terrafirma. Just last season in the PBA bubble, he was with the G, but now finding a new home here with TNT.
Yep, I think TNT needs Kubuntin because we know that TNT has scorers. They need those role players that can defend an in-your-face defense, which I think they lacked in the last season.
Coach Young, we didn't see much of Harvey Carey anymore over the last few years, but if you know basketball, you know the TNT Tropang Giga, you also know that he still played a very important role in that team, even though he didn't see minutes.
What's good about Harvey is if he doesn't play, then he's a glue guy in the court with his teammates. If he plays, he'll give you 100% and just play his role. So every time Coach Dico put him in the game, something good happens.
Well, who do you think now can or has to step into that leadership role for TNT?
Well, Kelly's still there. He stepped into that one. He's more vocal than Jason. But eventually, Pugoy should take over. Those veterans that are still young should start taking over in the leadership role.
And look at how deep this TNT Tropang Giga roster is. Second unit, you got Jason Castro coming off the bench. Boy Aram is also just about to check in. Here's the blur. Stepping on the brakes, gives it to Rosario, shoots over Munzon. Too strong that time. Ball lands in his hands once again and misses again. It was Kahilig trying to get a board from his teammate.
It'll take some time for both of these teams to get their groove going. They've been out for so long. But after a while, they'll get it also.
And Jokson says, I don't need much time. I got my stroke back.
That's right.
We talk about Joshua Munzon seeing an opening with the departure of CJ Perez, but it's also a green light for other guys like Kwame Yongson and all the other guards here. Anyone really can now step up for Terrafirma.
That's correct. It's hard to rely on just one person to do the scoring. Everybody has to contribute. Yes, some people will have higher scores than the others, but everybody has to be able to contribute to the cause. That's the thing that Terrafirma has. They don't have a deep bench. They might have a strong first 5 or 7, but it's the bench that will see how consistent the bench is.
Wow, what a run here for Terrafirma, 11-0. After TNT looked like they were the better team, they were in better shape to start the game, Terrafirma just came out with guns blazing. Williams, that's a foul on Rosser, former teammates there, as Matt Ganuelas Rosser started his career with TNT. 13-7 is the score in favor of Terrafirma. They are in the middle of an 11-0 run, and a timeout is requested here. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Inara Sports Arena for your PBA Philippine Cup. Now, we've all talked about this highly anticipated comeback of veteran coach Chot Reyes, the winningest coach of the TNT franchise. And when I caught up with him, he said that aside from his experience and his leadership, he is also focused on the relationship that he has built over the years, specifically with another veteran, Kelly Williams, who just recently came out of retirement. According to Coach Chot Reyes, before he gave his final yes to TNT, he had to call Kelly and make sure that he was coming back to play for him. Kelly then added that excited is an understatement now that he's back under Coach Chot's wings. I guess, who wouldn't be? They did win 4 championships together, and they plan to go back that same road very soon. Gentlemen.
Excellent report, Denise. And, you take a look at the relationships that certain players have formed with certain coaches. There are just things like that. And I'm sure you also, Coach, have had some players that, wherever you went as a coach, you at the very least tried to get them to join you in that new team.
That's correct. And the prime example would be Coach Tim and Joe DeBans.
That's
a
right.
Prime example
yeah.
that Coach Tim really wants him, needs him, that type of player to be in his team in terms of being a glue guy, being a motivator, being his second coach in the basketball court and outside of the basketball court. And you can say the same with Kelly Williams and Coach Chot. You have Brian Reyes also, and Jason on the latter days. But yes, you're just comfortable with having those types of players in your team.
Absolutely, and Kelly Williams, both him and Coach Chot Reyes, good to see them back in the PBA. Ramos with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Alulino, it's Adams, fires away. And that shot barely grazed the rim, but it was against the shot clock. Adams stopping Williams that time. I like the activity we're seeing from Roosevelt Adams immediately after being inserted. And just injecting energy, and Terrafirma continues to score points. This one now for Aldrich Ramos, coming off a nice pass from MGR.
That's right. You were mentioning about Roosevelt Adams. He's a long basketball player. Can shoot the three-point shot. Needs to improve his taking the ball to the basket. But you can use him in very utility guy. He's like almost like a Gabe Norwood. You can use him at the 3 and at the 4, which makes Terrafirma a very flexible team.
How about this, Coach Chong? You see Jason Castro. He's also one guy who, the moment you insert him into the game, he's gonna do damage, and he does just that, hitting the 3 and drawing a foul from Ganuelas Rosser.
Well, that should be you're correct. That should be the role of Jason when he comes into the game. He's got to look to score because that's what they need from him. Yeah, maybe he might direct every once in a while, but he needs to be aggressive so the defense can collapse on him. If he doesn't score, then he can spray the ball to the shooters.
And Jason is a guy who, even though he's coming from the bench, check the box score at the end of the game. He'll probably still be the one to play the most minutes for TNT. He's just that important to the team.
That's right. Their game just is different when Jason's in the court.
That's a foul on Rosser, pushing Jason Castro.
And Jason dictates the tempo of the game. You know, once in a while it's slowed down, but when he comes into the game, for sure, the game will be an up-tempo type of game, which is Jason's strength really, even during the Gilas days.
He was once named as the best point guard in Asia, and up until now, he shows you why he was able to get that acknowledgement before. Alolino. Drop off to Gabayni, missing. Eram getting that board. Boy, Eram, another guy who has found a home here with TNT.
Well, he's the only legit post player that TNT has. That's why they got him, to give them some sort of a post game, and he's been very good at it.
15-13, a low-scoring affair here in the first quarter. We do have 3 minutes remaining, though. Ryan Reyes has checked in, as well as Brian Mendoza for TNT. Castro was fouled by Alolino. McCarthy is also on the floor now for Terrafirma.
Yep, you said this kind of slow game. You know, both teams are just finding their rhythm, and I'm sure in the next, few minutes or a quarter, they'll just get their rhythm back.
That's right. This time out is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Back inside the Inara Sports Arena in Pasig for the continuation of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup. The TNT Tropang Giga, they are trailing by a bit, but when you have these two gentlemen in R.R. Pugoy and Jason Castro, you don't come out afraid of a 2-point deficit.
That's right. Sooner or later, when they do play together in some parts of the game, you know that the game will be, TNT will start to find their scoring. They're scoring like now. Roger Purgoy is 20 points per game. Jason Castro is 15 points per game. And rebounds per game for Roger is 5 rebounds per game, 3 rebounds for Jason. Assists per game for Jason is 5 and 2 for RR. And those stats between two players are great stats for your basketball team.
Absolutely. Do you feel, Coach Jong, that somehow Jason has slowly passed on the torch of being the flag bearer of TNT to RR Pugoy?
Yeah, that's what's good about Jason. He doesn't care about his stats or his scoring, just as long as in fact he likes it better. Help me in the scoring and I'll be happy to give you the ball. And it doesn't pressure Jason that every time I come into the game I have to score. So,
but he can very well do that.
But he can do that. So that's the luxury that Talk and Text has, the TNT has.
Oh, look at the TNT defense. 3 guys chasing down McCarthy. I think Rashawn is looking for a foul there, but it looked like he was caught in the air. Oh, it was eventually Dave Marcelo was able to get to that basketball. Marcelo was still part of Phoenix in the recent PBA bubble, and during that time, that team was just great in interior defense, Coach Jong. I mean, Justin Chua led the league in blocks. Dave Marcelo was not many spots behind him.
That's right, and Dave Marcelo came in, substitute for Justin, and it's like things didn't change. In fact, the physicality in terms of Phoenix's defense, in fact, leveled up.
Let's not forget that Dave Marcelo is a finals MVP in college, as we are reminded by Rashawn McCarthy that, hey, I'm still here, I can score, I can take the lead for Terrafirma.
That's correct, and then that's what's good about McCarthy. He's a slasher, he can shoot the 3, he's a great open court player, and if Terrafirma needs points, they can go to Rashawn McCarthy.
One comment from before that people said about Terrafirma is that they had three similar guys who kind of had similar games, wanted to play similar roles, and those were Jeremy King, Rashawn McCarthy, and CJ Perez.
Right.
And now with King and Perez not in the picture, McCarthy, he'll probably be the one tasked to like really step up and take a grip of that role.
You're correct. Yes, and it's his time. It's his time. Sometimes, players, you might have strong players, but they don't complement each other. And I think now Terrafirma has complementing players with each other.
How about the aggressiveness, coach, of Jason Castro early in the game?
He should do that because he sees that his team is down and he needs some scoring. It's not really the defensive end because Terrafirma has just scored 18 points, and we know that TNT has the capability of scoring 25 points in a given quarter.
Jason Castro now working with 6 points, also 2 rebounds, and the way he's aggressively attacking the hoop is shown by the 5 free throw attempts that he's had in the first quarter.
Actually, that's where you score points, on the free throw line. You can easily score maybe 7, 10 points just in the free throw line, being aggressive and getting fouled, and then keeps the other team in. If you keep the other team in penalty situation, those are easy points for you.
Good defense there for TNT. Reyes goes to Castro once again. Aram sealing down low. Boy, Aram tried to invent something, couldn't get it to fall down. McCarthy.
Well, TNT is just missing shots. They're getting the interior, which is good. They're just missing shots, but eventually you know that they can make them. I can't wait for TNT to put in their shock troopers like Montalvo, Eximiliano, to try to get some defensive pressure in the game.
Lots of physicality there, Coach Jong. And Lapos's head actually got caught up in the arm of Marcelo, and I think it's as much as a welcome to the PBA as it can get.
That's right. Welcome to the PBA from Dave Marcelo. Dave Marcelo is a very physical player, and just testing James Laput out. How will he accept the physicality in the PBA game?
Laput, who stands about 6'8", can truly be an asset for this team.
That's right. I mean, watching the games, a few games with Laput in the UAAP and in his video in the States, he knows his role. He's a rebounder. He just stays between 10 feet and in the basket. Doesn't do anything that he's not capable of doing.
However, he misses both free throws. But both teams commit lane violations, so it's going to be a jump. And that's going to happen at center court. We have 37.1 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And in this jump, it's going to be anyone from the team. So it's going to be Laput and Aram. Laput wins the tip. Terrafirma will get another crack at it. 7 on the shot clock. Alulino takes that pick from Laput. Jello stripped of that basketball. It will stay with Terrafirma, but only with 3.3 seconds remaining. TNT showing good defense.
Right, they should. They can't. They're having a hard time scoring, so they should rely on their defense. Or, something new that I've watched from both teams run. They've been running that Spain screen a lot of times.
And again, interior defense, a block on Laput. Mendoza will reset, pass it back to Jason. Can't go wrong with letting the blur reset your offense.
That's right, and it's a wise thing to do because it's an early shot for me. It was the last shot, but it was still too early.
That's going to be a block on Ryan Reyes. You have to give the offensive player some space to turn.
Right, maybe half or one step, but I think the shot of Jason was too early. He should have run down the clock a little bit more. Even if it was a great shot, the situation did not call for the shot. I'd really run the clock out.
Yeah, because see what happens here is that Terrafirma was able to get the rebound, and since there was still time on the clock,
right now
a foul was called.
Exactly.
you send the Terrafirma guy to the free throw line,
Exactly.
and he makes it.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You can be let's change spots.
Now, I will try to learn more. All that, Coach Jong, I learned from you. 3.1 seconds left in the first quarter. Alolino makes both free throws, so
But
Terrafirma.
3 seconds, still a lot of time for a good shot.
Especially for someone as quick as Castro. And see, he almost made that. But TNT will absorb a 3-point deficit at the end of the first quarter. There were some slow stretches, Coach Jong. There were some scoring stretches, but lots of basketball to be played. Terrafirma up by 3. Thank you guys for tuning in to PBA Rush. This is the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup. You got Judd Sulet and Coach Jong with Chico on deck to serve you this basketball game. And it's a good one so far. Terrafirma up by 3. Let's take a look at some of the guys that they lost over the offseason and they gained through mostly, well, 2 of those through draft picks.
So far in the first quarter, I thought James Laput played very well. Matt Ganuelas gave them energy and was part of a great defense of Terrafirma, and Joshua Monson knowing that he's a threat. So TNT knows that he can score, so they'll take him out of the game or do something special defensively.
You know, I did say earlier that Laput is 6'8". I was being conservative. Apparently, this guy is listed at 6'10". It's a lot of height there. And that's how many players in the PBA are 6'10"? You only have the Greg Slaughter, the Junmar Fajardo, really.
Japets around
that same height, yeah.
Around.
But definitely not a lot, Coach.
Not a lot. I mean, it's you know, if you've got a 6'10" available to you, you'll pick him, which is good for Terrafirma. They now have some size on their front line.
You know, to say that someone 6'10" and as skilled and has the potential that Laput has to drop to the 8th pick, it's not against him. It's not a knock on James Laput. It just shows you how much different basketball is nowadays, right? Because before, you're 6'10", you're 7 feet, automatic top pick.
Right. Well, the game has changed. They'd rather have, I think, the mobility, the shooting, the quickness, rather than the big man that's 15 feet and in player. But some teams need that, which Terrafirma grabbed James Laput because they think they need him.
That's right, because some of their bigs, like Aldrich Ramos, can hit it from outside.
Kahilig, Aldrich Ramos, now they just need a rebounder and inside presence.
Here's Dave Marcelo. Also one of the additions to TNT. Look at him, almost getting that in. Man, I don't remember the last time I saw Dave Marcelo take his defender one-on-one.
I know, and that was the right thing to do since Aldrich was pressuring him outside. So the way to beat pressure from the outside is take the ball to the basket. Next time down the floor, you won't get that same pressure anymore.
Again, Dave Marcelo, he has absorbed and accepted a role player. He has done that for several teams in the PBA, but back in college, this man was the guy.
Right, in San Beda, he was the scorer, he was the enforcer, everything he did it. But that's what players are good in their transition stage, when they need to adjust their game into the needs of the team that they are playing. And that gives them the longevity that they need to stay in the PBA.
TNT catching up slowly here. They're down by 4. Terrafirma looking to add to their lead. Oh, that lane was picked well by Ryan Reyes, and he cruises for the deuce.
Yeah, great anticipation by Ryan Reyes, but what Aldrich should have won was lessen the passing space. He should have moved more to the basketball so that it closes up the passing space.
Oh, and Adams knocks down Reyes inadvertently. That was a strong collision. Ryan still feeling the impact of that collision. Look at this. This is what Ryan Reyes has always done for decades now.
That's right. He's a great, he's just like the Pugoy, the older version of Pugoy. Somebody that does well in anticipating the passing lanes, reads the offense very well, plays hard like what he did, goes to the defensive rebound, gets the loose balls. So that's a Pugoy. Ryan Reyes is a Pugoy for you.
That's an excellent point, Coach Jong. I've never really thought about that comparison, but now that it's in my head, you brought it up. It's uncanny how similar, you know, what they do. And Dave Marcelo, he says, I'm a man of my own. No one like me. He powers through. Gets a three-point play opportunity. He gets the better of the youngin in Christian Balagasay.
Yep, see, this is the problem where the Terrafirma has when he starts subbing through his bench. Yes, he's got a good probably 7 and 8, but if he has to dig deeper in his bench, the quality will probably go down. Unlike TNT, even if he digs deep down in his bench, the intensity will still be there.
Well, if you're a coach of a team like that, Coach Jong, let's say, doesn't have to be Terrafirma, but let's say you have a lineup as Monzon showing, you know, one thing this guy had entering the PBA is an extremely impressive scoring ability. He's showing that.
Now, if people will replay that, it's another Spain screen again that Monzon was able to get to the basket.
I asked you this off the air, but for the benefit of our viewers here, as we take a look at some of the attributes of Joshua Monzon, 26-year-old, still a long way to go in his career. But what exactly is a Spain screen?
Well, the Spain screen is a pick and roll, at the middle pick and roll, wherein there is another player which is a screener shooter who will backpick the guy screening the ball. So it's a three-player involvement: the ball carrier, the ball screener, and the back picker.
So, from a normal pick and roll, the roller will also have someone screening for him.
Exactly.
There you go.
Makes it harder to defend it. And the only way to defend it is to switch it.
Oh wow! I mean,
That's the only way to, if people run it with excellently, the only way to defend that is to switch it.
Terrafirma running a lot of that. You're seeing a lot of that from them.
Terrafirma, I saw TNT, I also saw them run it. And it's really hard to defend. And we encountered that also in Serbia. We also encountered that in Serbia.
You know how basketball plays are also trends. There was a time elevator screens were the thing, and everyone was running that. Do you think that Spain screen is sort of the trend nowadays?
Yes, but it's been a trend in Europe. Now, probably maybe in the US it's also run, but I think now it's going to be a trend here in the Philippines. It's been a trend in Europe for quite some time already.
Let's see which team runs it better to get a lead here. But so far, Terrafirma has remained in front with a 2-point advantage. Rosario, who started out the game well, has re-entered. You were waiting for this guy to check in, Kip Montalvo.
Yep.
And it's good to see him back because remember, early in his PBA career, suffered an injury that sidelined him. That was in the bubble. Monzon, he can hit it from that far, but not this time. Actually hit nothing.
It was a too early a shot with somebody in front of him. He could have been patient a little bit more, but sometimes with these kinds of players, you need to give them confidence right away. We're
talking about Monzon for Terrafirma. not really mentioning a lot of the rookies of TNT. The reason why is their impressive rookie, Mikey Williams, who was selected 4th overall, is already physically ready to play. It's just that he had to serve quarantine upon returning to the Philippines from the United States. So he's not yet available for this game. But man, that guy is pretty impressive as well, Mikey Williams.
Yeah, he's we know he can score. He's not very flashy, but very effective. He played in the ABL and did very well in the ABL. And even without Ray Parks in the TNT lineup, Mikey Williams will be a able substitute for the loss of Parks.
Kyongson battling Montalvo. That's a familiar phrase to say because ever since college when Ateneo would play De La Salle, there would be some of that inserted in the commentary.
Yeah. It's good to see Montalvo because I like the way he plays. He's very aggressive. He's hardworking. He'll probably try to force the issue in terms of the offense, which TNT really needs right now.
And I think with Montalvo, he understands that there are a lot of scorers, especially among the guards of TNT. So he's not trying to be that anymore. He's not trying to get them buckets. In fact, he prides on being the stopper. But then right here, it was Kyongson who exposes the defense of Montalvo. Had a few years earlier than Montalvo, entering the PBA and uses his veteran knowledge to get past Kim.
Yeah, well, they're two contrasting players. Montalvo is a go, rah, while Kyongson is more of a deliberate type of player, uses his head, as you said, and reads the situation very well, just like a while ago when he was able to see a nice medium-range jump shot.
Okay, so when you look at the lineups, Coach Chong, obviously, talent-wise, TNT has always been one of the more talented teams on paper and on the court. But what would you say has been key in Terrafirma maintaining the lead here in the first half?
Well, I think they played. They're playing defense very well. Very well team defense. I think, and they haven't forced any shots yet. I mean, they're getting good shots. TNT, on the other hand, is not making shots they used to make. So, but they just made a 3-point shot now.
All right, so Montalvo was able to hit a 3-pointer to tie the game up, but someone was actually called for a technical foul.
The Ryan Reyes.
It looks like it's Ryan Reyes. And it was something about pointing at someone. That's what we heard from the Coliseum announcer. 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. At Terrafirma, just when TNT tied the game, they were able to take the lead once again, courtesy of that technical free throw. Munzon. Coach Johnny Del Cardel letting the rookie handle the basketball.
That's what I want to see with TNT, with the lineup, is with their shock troopers, is more pressure.
Look at Montalvo! Get the number of Kyongson twice. Well, that would have been a nice pass from Reyes, but it was deflected. Earlier, Montalvo was kind of embarrassed by that jumper of Kyongson. This time he says, not anymore. Let me get you twice.
With second motion from Wami.
And then Pogoy on the other side. And this is what you don't want to see if you're Terrafirma, because once Pogoy gets going, he can put on a string of points.
That's correct. We've seen him in the last season improving every day in scoring. And he can do it in a lot of ways. He can shoot the three. He take the ball to the basket. He can steal the ball and get the lay-in.
Kelly Williams getting called for a foul there. 29-28, now TNT on top. It has been a while since they led. Malagasay handoff to Monzon. Trying to make space against Pugoy. It's the front of the rim on the layup. Ball tapped and beautiful save there for Ryan Reyes. Opening up a cruise for the deuce for Pugoy.
So now you see more pressure on the TNT, which is their strength in their lineup, in my opinion, and they'll get a lot of this.
Look at the effort there of Ryan Reyes. The beneficiary was RR Pugoy. We have a timeout brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA.
Welcome back to the Inaris Sports Arena for your PBA Philippine Cup. Now, alam naman natin, pag napapag-usapan ng basketball, normally we also talk about sportsmanship and just everybody having fun, but it's a total 180 for Terrafirma, especially when it comes to their training sessions. According to their coaching staff, there were several times during practice that they would be in each other's faces at madalas nagkakabigayan, nagkakapikunan pa at several times as well. But it doesn't bother them at all. For them, if Terrafirma can translate that kind of aggressiveness during an actual game, then that's a good problem that they don't mind dealing with each and every day. So far, so good para nga dito sa Terrafirma as they are keeping it close, just being 3 points behind. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Denise. Well, Coach Chong, I'm sure it happened in your practices as well. That's just what happens when you're a team who's really trying to win. You know, your competitiveness comes out.
In practice, emotions get high because you want to prove something, especially if you were 1-10 the last season. So now you want to change things, and the first thing to do when you change those things is in practice, level up your practice, get some intensity in practice, and but by doing so, emotions will start coming in. But that's just the way it is. Rather than have no emotion in practice, you'd rather have that kind of emotion.
Which is exactly what I'm thinking about. That as a coach, you might even want to see that a bit, yung konting nagkakabigayan. Huwag lang yung mga personalan na nagsasakitan na, but you want to have that intensity.
For sure, because that means they're playing hard and they're taking things seriously, rather than watching them just going through the motions.
That's
And
right.
It's really frustrating. So you'd rather have the frustration wherein they're getting at each other rather than not caring.
That is right. Absolutely correct. And that's also a reason why Terrafirma, they held the lead for most of the first half and right now are just down by 2 points. Looks like Boy Eram might have had a hit in practice. He had that tape beside his lip.
But that's why Terrafirma is in the game, because as Denise said, that hopefully their intensity in practice translates to the game. And that's why they're in the game right now.
Here's Pugoy working against Kahilig. Had to step on the brakes. Release pass to Eram, being bothered by Ramos. Oh, and this is a tricky situation. So Eram was calling for a timeout, but then he was signaling he was still inside. Look. But then actually the referees blew their whistle when he was already stepping out of bounds.
Because you need to have 2 feet inside.
Nonetheless, a timeout was granted to TNT. They're up by 2. Here we are with the continuation of the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup. John Sulit and Coach Chong with Chico delivering the action between the Terrafirma Jeep and the TNT Tropang Giga, who is welcoming back a 5-time Coach of the Year and 8-time PBA champion, Coach Chot Reyes.
Well, Chot was the most successful in the TNT franchise. He's won 4 or 5 championships with TNT. So of all the coaches that have coached TNT, he was the most successful. And it's just right that he be back in the TNT, heading the TNT as a coach.
TNT gets a shot in from Glenn Cabuntin. Well, Coach Chong, you have worked both with Coach Chot and against him when you were coaching. What would you say is impressive with his system, with the way he handles the team?
Well, first, he's a great teacher. He's a great motivator, and players somehow always want to play for him and play 100% every single time. And he will not accept losing if they don't give the effort that is seen. He'll probably say it's okay to lose, but give the effort. And eventually, if you give the effort, you'll probably most likely give yourself a best chance of winning. That's why when we see now, you see Tokentex, how hard they're playing, and the players that he got are all hard workers and intensity players.
Absolutely. And that's also how they were able to climb up to a 4-point lead here, because earlier they were trailing. Montalvo hitting and missing badly there rather, and Poyeram just mopping up the miss, something he's so good at doing.
But that's good what Montalvo did. Poyeram would have not gotten the offensive rebound if Montalvo was not aggressive to the basket.
An article was once wrote about something like that. They call that in that article the Kobe assist. Because you take shots, something opens up, especially when you get the offensive board.
That's right. That's correct. Just if you're open, it's a good shot. Take it. Don't not take it because it's useless if you don't. You have to keep the defense honest.
Here's Pogoy, beautiful attack to the basket.
So now they're getting their way into the basket, into the paint. They're becoming more aggressive attacking the basket, which is what the trademark of the dribble drive offense should be.
And just like that, Pogoy has 8 points already.
Now it's Terrafirma's turn, having a hard time scoring. For them to be able to score, maybe they should set more plays for Monson to get an open shot. He hadn't seen a good shot in quite some time.
And it's really in the paint that TNT has seen an advantage in this game. 18 points in the paint compared to only 8 for Terrafirma, and that even is before, or rather after, the shot clock buzzer. So that's going to be turnover number 5 for Terrafirma Jeep.
Right, and they couldn't run anything there. They didn't know were they going to isolate McCarthy or were they going to ball pick McCarthy. It can't happen for you to get, to be stagnant that way.
Here's Castro back on the floor. Now he's joined by Pogoy at the same time. RR out to chase and only 5 seconds on the clock. Nice roll there, but couldn't handle the pass. No problem. Still 2 points for Poyeram.
Right, both teams are hard showing on the ball pick, so I'd early slip that. I'd anticipate the ball pick and early slip that so that I can get something.
8-point lead now for TNT. Terrafirma needs to get something going here. Yongson. Eram in front of him. Those two guys were teammates before. Ramos. Step back. Over the defense. No. And the TNT defense has really clamped down. And it's also opened opportunities to run and attack on offense. Pogoy wide open. There's the dribble drive action, but did not result to a made shot. What a block! Wow!
That was great action for you. Great offense and great block. Great rebound by Kubuntin. Great block by
Everything
McDaniel.
was great.
Everything was great. You know, if there's any highlight in this game on both ends of the floor, it's this one.
Man, look at that. Canuelas had both hands on it. He forced Kobuntin to fall down to the ground, and he even landed with a basketball. How often
Right.
do you see that?
It's like he grabbed the block.
But going back a bit earlier in that play, Coach Jong, yung tirami or Uruguay, that's exactly what you want to get out of a dribble drive run.
Sure, they run a ball pick, dribble drive ball pick, because the tag was at the weak side. You skip the ball to the weak side, shoots an open shot. Kubuntin, offensive rebound, the weak side, and you know, he gets an offensive rebound, but Magdanuelas was there to block the shot. So great sequence on that play.
It just so happened that Uruguay missed that three-pointer. It's just odd though that we're almost one full half in. Uruguay has only attempted one three-pointer. That one, and he missed it. Out of threes in this game, TNT is actually 1 for 12 from downtown.
That's because at the start of the game, they were not very aggressive getting to the basket, so they can't get the three-point shot yet. But if you notice in the past few plays, when they got the lead, they were aggressive going to the basket. So now what you'll see Terrafirma do is help on those penetrations, which will open up the three-point shot. Now the question is, can TNT make the three-point shot?
TNT with a 7-0 run to build their biggest lead of the game at 9.
You know what Terrafirma should do is, you know, get some plays or sets that can get these people some shots.
Yeah, Terrafirma has gone scoreless in the last 2 minutes, Coach.
That's right. In the last two plays, they did not run anything. I think even three when they've got 24-second shot clock violations. Now it's a turnover, which won't help them.
And Jason Castro, you give him an open court, and he can very well score.
Right? And you don't want that. Off the timeout, you turn the ball over. You don't want that.
1:10 left. Yongson will shoot, no good. About a minute remaining here. Rosario thought about it, will dribble in, and will draw a foul. 2 defenders on Rosario that time, didn't bother him at all.
So now another penetration by TNT, which gets them to the line.
Look at this, Jason Castro. He may not be the youngest, but he's still one of the fastest players out there.
He's really a gifted athletic player. Jason is. That's why he became, you know, the best point guard in Asia, is precisely because of his quickness, and nobody is able to stay with him one-on-one.
Coach, when we shot the Kwentong Gilas, the episode of Jason Castro, which I was honored to write that episode, we went to the school where he grew up, his elementary school. And they showed me that part of the road where Jason would compete in track or in sprints before.
Right.
And it was literally just a road, not a track at all. And it was just amazing to see, okay, the speed that I see from Jason in the international stage started on this road.
That's right. That's history. That's where we all came from.
And here he is now. Here is TNT with a 12-point lead, their biggest so far. Jongson still nothing. And that's 3 minutes now that Terrafirma has gone scoreless. That is tapped out of bounds. It will stay, however, with the Jeep.
Now let's see what Terrafirma should do. They should just be able to keep their poise, keep their composure, because most young teams will just try to get them by themselves, try to get back into the game by themselves.
This is just an incredible run that TNT has gone on. 14-2 run now for them.
That's right. See, it's by himself again. So, you know, they've got to run something more, be more patient rather than say that I can take it.
The last make of Terrafirma was at the 3:40 mark of the second, courtesy of Aldrich Ramos. Here's Castro spinning, putting it up too strong, and that's going to be the end of the second quarter. Lots of bodies flying there. No whistle, so... Oh, is there? Apparently there is.
I think Kubuntin fouled. He looked like he fouled.
Okay. My apologies there. There was a foul on Kobutin, and that might be costly. So 0.9 of a second. You see there, Eram really is nursing an injury, a wound near his mouth area.
Yeah, I think he got hit in previous plays.
0.9 of a second here. Ganuela's roster. This will count if it goes.
Almost had the line.
At the end of the first half, it's a 12-point lead for the TNT Tropang Giga. They outscored the Terrafirma Jeep by 15 points in the second quarter.
Well, sooner or later, TNT will have a run, which they did because their defense became more aggressive when Montalvo came in the game and they attacked the basket consistently.
So it's a 12-point lead for TNT heading into the half.
Para sa bawat Pilipino, tuloy ang kwento. Alaska Aces, tuloy ang pagkakaisa. Barangay Ginebra, tuloy ang tapang. Blackwater Bossing, tuloy ang pagpursige. Magnolia Hotshots, tuloy ang bayanihan. Meralco Boats, tuloy ang liwanag. NLEX Road Warriors, tuloy ang pagsulong. Northport Batang Pier, tuloy ang pag-ahon. Phoenix Fuel Masters, tuloy ang pagsiklaw. Rain or Shine Elasta Painters, tuloy ang matatag. San Miguel Beermen, tuloy ang angas. Terrafirma Jeep, tuloy ang puwersa. TNT Tropang Giga, tuloy ang tropahan. At ngayong 2021, tuloy ang pagbabalik ng PBA.
Matapang pa rin tayo. Ang tropa, hindi mawawala. Ang tatag, hindi magigiba. Ilang beses mang kailangan, umaahon muli. Tuloy ang pagpursige. Tuloy ang pagsiklam. Tumitindi ang alam at tuluyang liliwanag. Aarangkada bilang liga. Iisang puwersa. Para sa iisang pangarap. Para sa samahan. Para sa sambayanan. Tayo ang bida. Tuloy ang laban.
Halfway through this ball game, and the TNT Tropang Giga has gained the advantage. 12-point lead over the Terrafirma Jeep, 45-33. Juts with it, and Coach Jong Wichiko on the call for this one in the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup. Coach Jong, what was the story of the first half?
Well, Terrafirma, was playing very well in the first quarter and first few minutes of the second quarter, until TNT became more aggressive on the defensive end and was able to attack the basket every now and then. And they made a streak. I think it was 14-2 or 15-2, something like that. That's why the lead is 45-33. TNT is not shooting very well, but they still got to the line a lot of times because they were aggressive to the basket. 12 out of 15, while Terrafirma was only 5 out of 8. And look at the inside points, 24 for TNT and only 8 for Terrafirma. 8 points off turnovers for TNT had 8 points in the turnovers of the Jeep, while Jeep had 0 points off turnovers, and fast break points, TNT 6, the Terrafirma only 3. So easy points were able to make TNT get this 12-point lead.
When you say that it starts on the defensive end, it feels so cliche, it feels like something ordinary, but it really was. how this game changed and went in the favor of the TNT Tropang Giga. These are the halftime statistics brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. And of course, you know, there are just some guys that we were on the lookout for. The leading scorers right now, Aldrich Ramos hit a couple of threes, led the way for Terrafirma. And as always for TNT Tropang Giga coach, always a balanced attack for this team.
That's right. They have so many weapons. Pogoy 8 points, Rosario 8, Jason 8, Aram 6, Dave Marcelo 6. Terrafirma did not have a hard. It doesn't, you know, they're also spread out shooting, but I think their defense really was in question in the last 6 minutes, and they turned the ball over and had 3 24-second shot clock violations, and that cost them a lot.
Yep, so it's more than the steals. You know, if you look at defense, normally you see, oh, how many steals do they have? How many blocks do they have? It wasn't that. It was the hustle of this guy, Ryan Reyes, just staying in front of the defender and, like you said, just forcing them into errors, difficult shots, and sometimes shot clock violations.
That's right. I mean, 2 or 3 shot clock violations. That's great defense by TNT. Also question their offense, but you know, you made the team not be able to get a good shot. And that's a turnover already right there that gives you a chance to score on the other end of the floor.
Ramos start for Terrafirma, but you're always looking for other guys to help out. You want it to be sort of what TNT did, a balanced attack. Tiongson and Munzon, they kind of earned, you know, the role now as the scorers of the squad, but they've been struggling with their shots. Tiongson with 5 points, but 2 for 10 from the field. Munzon in his PBA debut, 4 points, 2 out of 9 from the field.
Well, you know, Monson, I think, is a transition 3-point player, so shooter. If you can't get to transition game, then he can't really get open shots. And how you get him the open shots on the half court is need to run sets for him to get this open 3-point shot. And that's 249 is testament that they are not giving him the shots that he really is comfortable making.
You talk about 3-point shots, Coach Jong, and that hasn't been the weapon for either of these two teams. Terrafirma's knocked down a few, Aldrich Ramos a couple, although they're only 4 of 15 from the 3-point range. But TNT, normally a good 3-point shooting team, they have a 12-point lead while shooting 1 for 12 from downtown.
And what more if they start making their 3-point shots? Because right now they have 24 points in the paint, which is attacking the basket.
Look at that! Kelly Williams back in the PBA!
What can I say? Imagine that. That's a great play off the start of the third quarter.
Machine Gun
Right.
Kelly, bang, bang, bang!
If you look at that play, it's a Spain screen.
That is what
Right.
you were talking
So
about.
you run a pick and roll and somebody screams for the screener. That's Spain screen.
And it's always a special moment when Kelly Williams does that. I mean, for any basketball fan, if we're being honest, we're so used to seeing dunks and plays like those only when there are imports around, most of the time. But then Kelly,
You can count. It's Kelly Williams and Japet Aguilar. That once off the timeout that you see a dunk. And
yeah.
I wish I can dunk too.
What
Before.
more me? What more us, regular players? And also, you gotta credit that pass from R.R. Bugoy. And guess who was welcome to the PBA? The rookie, the top overall pick, Joshua Munzon, right in that poster with Kelly. That ought to wake everyone up.
That's another Spain screen.
And again, you know, just the veterans of TNT. It's almost like Jason saying, hey, okay, Kelly, you're as much a veteran as I am. You're still able to do that? Let me show you what I can do, a three-pointer.
That's right. And now, I said really earlier, the only way to defend that play is to switch it.
Has that not been happening, Coach? You think?
No.
Jason could not make it back-to-back.
You know, Kelly got the dunk because they didn't switch it. Jason had the 3-point shot because they didn't switch it.
And again, an error for Terrafirma. Bugoy has it. Williams going to the corner. Kobutin thought about it, will dribble closer. Hanging in the air. And what a blitz it was for TNT.
That's a great pass by Kelly. He knew he had a two-pointer, but he saw his teammate wide open in the corner. That makes you a basketball team.
Big start for TNT to this third quarter. That's now an 8-0 run. Add more to it. I was hoping for a Jason dunk.
You know, in the 2 minutes, 10 points right away in 2 minutes, and then Terrafirma didn't score any points. So.
And it started with a dunk. Everything else followed. Jason Castro cruised for the deuce. We have a timeout brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. Lots of action happening here. Everything going towards the side of TNT. I mean, earlier they went with the younger guys to start the game. All right, go do your thing. Come the second half, the vets are ready to step in.
That's right. It's a Rosario, Jason, Pugoy, and Cobontin is there, which is not really new, but he's still a veteran. He's new to the team, but he's still a veteran in terms of his playing career. So, you know, you have two types of games that, sets of players that Coach Chot has. You have the young ones, the go guys, and these get the veteran guys that will, their efficiency and consistency will be there.
You know, Coach Jong, you can't discount how many talented players, young and new players TNT has in their roster. But this, with Castro, Williams, Rosario, and Pugoy, that still might be the lineup of them.
That they will rely on this lineup. When things aren't going well, you can rely on this lineup. And if they're not going well, then you have the shock troopers, the young ones that will just work hard.
And that's something Terrafirma badly needed. Something to douse that flame a little bit. Rashawn McCartney hitting a three-pointer from the corner. They're going to need a lot more from him.
That's right. And how they got that shot is the way they should just run. Whenever they ran a while ago just to get that shot.
See, that time it looked like Terrafirma already switched the action that TNT tried to run with, but still, 2 points.
Well, yeah, because Pugoy got a running start. So they should, if they're going to switch, they should switch earlier.
Hand off to McCarthy. He's feeling it. He gets fouled there by Cobontin. Those two guys spent a few seasons together in Terrafirma. But you know what I love about what we're seeing from the players, Coach? We saw it yesterday with guys like Narn Pinto and JR Quinyan. I think we're seeing it from Glenn Cobontin. These guys really worked on their conditioning. Even though they couldn't be with the team for the most part of the offseason, they really made sure that come the next tournament, the Philippine Cup, they'd come in ready physically.
But that's professional for you. You can't say, we can't go to the gym, we can't do this, we can't do that. Find something that you can do just to keep you in decent shape.
With Glenn Cobontin, he must have lost some pounds, with cardio, with working out. But the shaving of that beard must have trimmed 20 pounds as well.
Easily. Easily. That's good, whatever, swimmers, they made him faster and more and lighter. But Cobontin is a great player because he can defend. When he was with
Are you talking about college?
No,
here.
Yeah.
Well, he started with Kia and then, of course,
Right.
Terrafirma Colombian.
They wanted him to score, but he's not a real scorer.
He did try. I remember there were games he would top score for them. Yeah, you're right.
But he's not a consistent scorer, which he was shooting three-point shot, but he got a flagrant foul. That's what he's there for, actually. So, but anyway, but now he's found a niche in his game where he can defend, just hit the open three-point shot when it's there. But that's what really he's there for: defend.
Yeah, you're right. And we spoke about how TNT has lots of weapons offensively. So now, Cobontin being inserted here with the Tropang Giga, he might be able to play more of his natural role.
Sure.
Which
yes.
is, again, like you said, utility, defensive guy, energy and hustle player. But again, you know, a little bit too much maybe that time. The referee seemed to review the action that he came off that screen, tried to fight the screen to defend McCarthy's 3, and they ruled it a flagrant 1. So Kubuntin has to sit for 3 minutes, and McCarthy will get 3 free throws. That guy just hit a 3-pointer the play before this one, so that could propel Rashawn to a flow. We also know this guy can score buckets.
Well, you know who in Terrafirma, who the scorers are, and that's where you need to concentrate your offense on, and let the other guys complement the scorer.
Under 9 minutes to go here in the third quarter, Alunino is joined by Ramos, Canuelas, Rosser, Adams, and McCarthy. MGR, too strong. Rebound by Pogoy, off and running is TNT. That's Ryan Reyes spotting. Troy Rosario again. Rosario is just so excellent with early work.
He's a great rim runner from rim to rim. You know, he's not good. He can shoot the 3-point shot, but he's a great loop man or a rim to rim runner. You know, that's what his strengths are.
Rosario is one of those guys who'll be able to score 20 points without having a play drawn up for him.
That's right. He's just waiting for the basketball. He doesn't need to go one-on-one to score. Just wait for the ball and his opportunity to score.
But if Rosario is a stretch 4, well, you talk about the OGs of stretch 4. You talk about Aldrich Ramos, who hit another 3 there.
You know, he's the...
Oh, what a play. Everything but the shot, but that was... I was hoping it would go in because that would have just been a beautiful basketball play. And look at that smirk on Ryan Reyes' face. That said it all.
You know, Aldrich Ramos is the original stretch 4 during the Gilas days.
That's
Gilas
right,
1.
exactly. He sort of paved the way, right, for a lot of the stretch 4s of today.
That's correct, yeah. And you know, Toroman really used him.
McCarthy challenging Williams, got hit in the face. Kelly trying to make sure Rashawn is okay. They smile it off. I mean, these players understand that after months of just wanting to play basketball once again, you know, everyone is just trying to compete here. Oh man, that was a hard smack. Again, Kelly was trying to go for the basketball, but did not catch any of it. Yeah, he took the hit there.
Unintentional. He was going for the ball, missed the ball, hit the head.
Referees are still gonna review this though, because we've seen some of the collisions like that, although unintentional, just the referees trying to control, you know, the physicality. Some would still be elevated to a flagrant or deliberate foul. And exactly, that's a flagrant penalty 1 on Kelly Williams. Which might be a little bit hurtful for TNT because Kelly was getting into a strong groove. And I felt like Kelly also kind of saw it coming, Coach.
Right.
That's actually the second flagrant foul that McCarthy has had to endure in this quarter alone.
I know, one from Kubuntin and one from Kelly Williams.
The one on Kubuntin was on the lower half of his body and this one on the upper half. So,
What's
hey,
next?
I hope none anymore. But this really helps Terrafirma. Not only are they getting extra possessions and free throws, but just seeing that ball go through the net, getting one of their best scorers in McCarthy, shoot a lot of uncontested shots and get his touch.
That's right, and it's good for it's a momentum breaker for TNT and Giga. They were able to break the momentum. TNT just missed 2 or 3 3-point shots. That's good that Dyip was able to score off those missed shots.
McCarthy trying to leave it to Laput. McCarthy again, and that one was tipped out by Rosario, but another try there. Aldrich Ramos mopping up the mess.
Just second effort by Dyip, which is what they need. Second effort.
Terrafirma, their franchise has always been a young team, Coach Jong, but they are always in need, and they always had one veteran leader in them. Now that's Aldrich Ramos. And the bounce pass to nowhere by Poyera.
Bounce pass to no one. He thought that Troy would be in the loop, but Troy spread out to the 3-point shot.
And that's Adams! Last year's top overall pick. Now trying to show and prove his wares here in the PBA.
Yeah, now it's Dyip's turn to attack the basket. The second quarter, it was TNT attacking the basket. Now it's Dyip's turn attacking to the basket.
And that is gonna be important, not just for this game, but moving forward, moving ahead for Terrafirma. Let these young guys who are scheduled to be the future of this franchise gain their confidence early on.
Sure. You know it's Adams, you know it's McCarthy, you know it's Laput. And then the other veterans, then they can just chip in their thing.
Castro looking for Marcelo. Dave Marcelo has been so smart in this game. He's just drawn so many fouls with that ball fake.
Yeah, every time he comes into the game, something good happens.
Someone commits a foul
Right.
whenever he comes into a game.
Because he knows he's just going to roll to the basket, rebound.
Marcelo is the kind of player who will not demand minutes. He's just going to be there ready to help in whatever capacity is given to him.
And that's what's good about TNT being a veteran team is they know how to break the streak. Like Dyip just ran a streak. Now all they had to do was just run simple pick and roll and try to get fouled so they can break the momentum and shoot free throws or try to get the best shot possible and not hurry.
An offensive rebound there for Eram. Castro decided to wait a bit. Now orchestrating the offense. Asks for that pick. Castro. That's vintage Jason. Just blowing past everyone.
And James Laput had no chance. Against Jason, you have to move your feet really and do the best you can, not make him attack the basket.
TNT earlier in this period went on an 18-0 run, Coach Chong. And they built a 22-point lead. But now, Terrafirma, they went on a little run of their own, getting a little bit closer. But of course, then comes Jason Castro to restore business for TNT.
That's right. If you need a basket, you know who to go to. TNT knows that. Dyip doesn't know that yet. Who to go to when I need a basket.
And that violation, McCarthy, as he exploded to the basket, stepped on the sideline. I feel like that's such a common violation nowadays.
It always happens because when you're in the corner, you can't try to avoid taking a step back. Have your feet set already. It's too short. The space is too small.
Castro now working with Eram again on that two-man game. Jason to the corner, extra pass to Pagoy. He has to put it up. And that was after the buzzer, so that's going to be a violation on TNT.
That's why when we practice shooting in the corner, we don't have too much movement. It's just catch, no very little movement of the foot, but for sure no step back. Maybe step side and then shoot. No step backs.
I was able to read or watch something about Ray Allen on that when he said he wanted his motion on the corner when he's shooting. Feet planted, no movement at all.
Sure.
Jongson almost got that, and Laput working hard to get a board, but lands in the hands of Jason. Ogoy. Good defense there for Adams. But Marcelo is open, and he almost hits that. How about Eram? And a lot of offensive rebounds here for TNT. Second chance opportunities.
Yeah, if you can check how many points they shot in the paint, whether it is second opportunities or layups.
That's now 36 points in the paint,
In the
Coach
paint.
Joe.
36.
Laput too strong. 36 might not be that big, per se, but then you think about Terrafirma, and they only have 12.
That's right. Look at the score. TNT only scored 64. Scored 64. Half of those is in the paint.
Absolutely.
Half
And
of
Pagoy continuing to punish the defense of Terrafirma.
Maybe they're afraid of the three-point shot, but
Well, it hasn't been that kind to them, TNT, because they're only shooting 2 for 16.
correct.
Castro battling Laput for that board. It will stay with Terrafirma. And while they were able to get closer, TNT just went on a surge to re-establish another 18-point advantage. We have a timeout brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA.
Welcome back to the Inaris Sports Arena for your PBA Philippine Cup. Now, during the half, I was able to talk to Terrafirma assistant coach James Tolentino. At ang sabi niya, talagang pinaalala daw ng buong coaching staff itong unfortunate endgame habit na meron tong Terrafirma, which is maganda yung papakita sa una, pagdating ng fourth quarter, biglang bumibitaw. And that is the reason why, exact reason why they are so alarmed. Because they also mentioned that 28 to 13 run na nangyari nung second quarter. They also talked about the 8 points of the turnovers na ipinapamigay nitong Terrafirma. Now, they've talked about this dahil nung bubble, paulit-ulit din nilang dinidiscuss to. And then there's so much that they could just tell these players. It's actually up to them to realize it. And the question is, how quickly will they be able to adjust and do something about it? Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Denise. Well, you know, for these two teams, they are out for vengeance, out to prove themselves. And it's because of contrasting results in the PBA bubble as Terrafirma, as Kahilig hits a 3. Coach Jong, TNT was so close. They got to the finals only to lose to Ginebra. Terrafirma did not even get far. They were eliminated and finished last at 12. And those are the reasons why these two teams are so eager for success here in the brand new season.
Right, TNT almost, but not quite. Jeep, really bad conference, so you know they really want to do well. That's 2 straight 3-pointers for Jeep. One is Kahilig, which is Adams, which both players can do it. So so that's why Jeep has to set those shots up. It's up to the offense to set the shots up.
That was the selling point of Adams last year as the top overall pick. He's a 6'6" guy who can hit it from outside.
That's correct, and it came mostly from CJ, because when CJ penetrates, CJ is going to find those shooters. Right now, it's not happening. You know, they have to find someone to go in so that they can free their 3-point shooters.
Remember earlier in the second quarter, Coach Jong, you mentioned that the way TNT was able to establish a lead was they forced multiple shot clock violations. Terrafirma has forced 2 already on TNT in this third period. McCarthy loses it though. A bit ambitious on that attack. Here's Alejandro. JJ Alejandro finding Marcelo. The fake on Laput. Great footwork. Dave gets it back again. Has to pass it out. Aram from the corner. No good. Laput finally secures the board for Terrafirma. That's his 7th rebound.
Well, not a good lineup for Coach Shot, the way they're playing. No one to really go to in terms of creating shots for TNT. Oh.
And another 3-pointer. Andreas Kahilig.
I mean, that's all he's going to do. And why do we want to give? Why does TNT want to give that shot to him? Well, that's his expertise. That's his strength.
12 points for Kahilig. He hasn't missed. 4 of 4 from Dyip, but Ryan Reyes answers right back.
Badly needed basket. That's good to break the momentum.
And Ryan Reyes has 5 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Beautiful pass from Tiongson, and Laput got the flyby, got the bucket.
That's what James is good for, just, he has pretty good hands, I think, and just, shoot the 2-point shot of the pick and roll by Wami.
Reyes working on Adams. Ryan, difficult shot. He's looking for a foul there. Tiongson to Adams. Puts the ball on the floor. He likes his matchup against Alejandro, but he gets blocked there. Gahiling picks up the board.
Not Adam's strength. That's what happened. He doesn't have a 3-point shot. Move the ball.
Tiongson, that rims out. Oh, but a blessing lands in the hands of McCarthy. Reyes tried to swipe that ball away from Laput. Foul whistled on Ryan.
You look at the two TNT players. They're poofed. Boyaram is poofed. Heruela is poofed. When they start holding onto their shorts, they're tired.
And this is a rest badly needed by these two teams. TNT still up by 10. 1:08 left in the third. Terrafirma making their run here towards the end of the third. Still down by 10, but they've climbed back already because they were once down by 22 points. Did their energy change, you feel, Coach Jong?
I think their energy changed. They played pretty good defense. They were able to stop some. They were able to get to the free throw line because of McCarthy and 3-point shot by Kahili, 2 3-point shots. So, it changed a little bit, but the game of, it's the way the game is. And I know that TNT will make their adjustments in the next minute. But that's just the way the game is. You make your streaks.
Joshua Munzon re-enters the ball game. He has 4 points, 2 of 9 shooting from the field. Laput, beautiful read by Pukoy. The way that Terrafirma has been able to get back in this game is through their 3-point shooting. They were 4 for 15 in the first half, 5 of 8 here in the third.
That's correct. And the 5 that Coach Shot had in the game for that span was not an ideal 5. It's like there was no hustle on that. They were all slow. Boyaram, Dave Marcelo, JJ Alejandro. So no hustle players.
And I guess it also really helped. Remember the 2 flagrant fouls that were whistled, one on Kubunte and one on Williams. Kelly almost threw that underneath the basket, but landed with Rosario, and technical foul might be slapped on Kelly here. He was mad that there was no whistle on his attack.
He was mad, but if the ref, why get a technical? Why get a technical when you're down 12, you're up 12? Just changes the momentum of the game. He got clean.
All right, so Kelly Williams had just been ejected from the game. So this was a technical foul on Kelly Williams, and he already had that flagrant foul on McCarthy. So Kelly Williams has just been ejected.
Flagrant foul and a technical.
How big of a development is this, Coach, for TNT?
And they've got a lot of big men. I know Kelly because of his athleticism and energy. But they've got pretty deep bench in terms of the big man. But the type of game that Kelly is giving, only Troy Rosario can give.
However, if you're Terrafirma, you would have wanted to capitalize on that and make that free throw. Again, you know, a lot of opportunities were given to Terrafirma with 2 flagrant fouls, that technical foul on Kelly. I feel like, you know, with how we see Kelly being used by Coach Chot with the minutes, this disrupts, you know, his rotation a little bit. Might be an opening for Terrafirma. 4 seconds to go. Munzon has to go now. He takes the long three. Couldn't get it. That's the end of the third quarter. What a quarter that was. High scoring one for both teams. 26 points for both teams in each of them. In that quarter, Jason Castro is still the leader of TNT.
Of course, you know, Jason Castro, if you need points, go to Jason Castro. If you need creation, go to Jason Castro. Just like that, he stole the ball, tipped the ball, and now here's a layup for him.
And Jason is the leading scorer right now of TNT. That's why they're up by 12, 71-59. Rosario has been remarkable as well in this ball game. You know, there have been contributions from Bugoy, from Williams, from Castro. You know that Troy will never be out of that equation.
Yes, just waiting for his opportunity. As you said, we don't need to run plays for Troy, but he'll get his points just by running rim to rim, offensive rebound, drop passes, and a few 3 points here and there if he's into the groove. So, but you know, you'd always like Troy Rosario, like here.
And he got the rebound, he got the conversion on the other side. I think he knew that you were saying good words about him.
That's right. He wants to prove me right now.
14-point lead now for TNT. A lot of people were excited about Joshua Munzon. He makes a play there, passing it to Gabayni. And one opportunity. But you know what? I think out of the top three, we've already seen the top three picks play. Munzon here in action with Terrafirma. As we said, feeding Gabayni. Malonzo saw action yesterday against Northport, with Northport rather, and then Oftana played for NLEX. They all struggled, actually, in terms of you know, finding their offensive rhythm. Malonzo did have that highlight of an alley-oop.
That's because this is my opinion. Because none of the three are really one-on-one players. They are good players, but they are not one-on-one players. Players that you just give the ball, and then it's up to you what you want to do. Unlike the CJ Perez's, when here's the ball, create. Joshua Munzon is a shooter, slasher, but he's not a one-on-one player. Malonzo is the same thing. He's an open court player, you know, highlighter, defender, but not a one-on-one player. And same thing with
Malonzo.
Malonzo, Munzon, and
Oftana.
is also a complementary player. Great three-point shooter, role player, advantage at the four, but he's not a one-on-one player.
When you think about those rookies, and the one thing common among them is they're versatile. They're players who can play and defend multiple positions.
which is so important now in today's basketball.
Especially Malonzo, who's a 6'7", 3-4 guy, can play even the 5. But you know, it'll take them some time to get really accustomed to the type of game that the PBA has.
If you guys want to catch those rookies, watch the games live on PBA Rush via Signal Play, free until August 15th. Games also available on demand for free. Register on signalplay.com and download the app. Bogoy will get a breather right now. He has 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. This guy, Troy Rosario, missing on that free throw, but he has also contributed very well for the TNT Tropang Giga. Rosser all the way to the basket. Back to a 12-point deficit that Terrafirma is facing. Those are the first 2 points of Gaduelas Rosser.
Well, yeah, Gaduelas is not known as a scorer, but he's there to defend and disrupt the offense of the opponent because of his quickness and his length. You might suffer a little bit from the offense, but for sure his defensive presence is helpful to Terrafirma.
Well, that's what you were talking about, the defense. In the second half, so many times that Terrafirma has forced TNT to, contested shots late in the shot clock. But this time, it was a wasted opportunity as Gabaini was called for an offensive foul.
Right, he was trying to get position on Dave Marcelo, and here we go. There, he was trying to get position, good position on the break. But he hit the chest of Dave Marcelo and got him out of established position.
Marcelo is also good at anticipating the movement of his opponents. Castro. You see there, when Jason saw that the defender had his back turned on him, that was the signal to turn on the Jets.
Yeah, that's correct. So when you encounter a hard show on the pick and roll, if you encounter a hard show, all you have to do is wait for that big man to recover back to his man and follow him behind, which is what Jason did. That's one way of countering a hard show.
And it really is one of my favorite things about sharing a seat with you, Coach Jong, is learning all these tidbits. Not that I can apply them because I will probably turn the ball over before there's a chance to run, but just learning about how basketball is played and is organized at a high level. And that's what TNT has been showing throughout this game. That's why they're enjoying 14-point lead. You saw there exposing the defense was Jason Castro. You see how far Gabaini followed him and just really opened that shot for his big man, Dave Marcelo. We have a timeout brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA.
Sports Arena for your PBA Philippine Cup. Now, before this fourth quarter started, Coach Chod Reyes kept it short but not so sweet. Ang paalala niya dito sa Tropang Giga, kaya lang daw sila nakahabol itong Terrafirma ay dahil dun sa kalokohan na ipinapakita nila inside the court. And he kept using that specific word over and over again just to remind them that they cannot start off a conference performing like this. They are a good team on paper. They are a good team inside the court. But the only way that they can be dominant in this conference is for them to start now, and they should clean up their act. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Denise. And even with a 14-point advantage, that's Coach Chot for you. He's not satisfied until that final buzzer sounds with his team ahead.
Well, that's exactly right, because every time you take things for granted or relax, and that's the time the other team will bounce on that, which is what they showed earlier when they were already up by 22 points and then gave Terrafirma back into the game. Now they cut it down to I think 10 points, but that's good now. They're back to 14 points. But still, it shouldn't have happened.
And
That's
it-
what Coach Sean is telling
That's
us.
right. And you give opportunities to Joshua Monzon to get his shots up and in and find the rhythm. Siyang ka mahihirapan because when these guys get going, next thing you know, baka lamang na ulit yung kala. Oh, Rosario went for
Almost.
something big there. We couldn't get that one. Monzon couldn't make it back-to-back, but Adams there for the mop-up.
See, now that's 2 points that you get. 4 points actually. One for Monzon on the inbounds play. Now here.
And now the buckets are starting to come from the guys that Coach Johnny Del Cardel wants to get going. Yung mga Monzon, McCarthy, Adams. I mean, he was happy to get some contribution from Ramos, but he wanted these guys to get going.
Yes, they should. Because they are the guys that can really score.
And that's going to be a violation again for TNT. They're loading up on their turnovers, Coach Jong, here in the second half.
That's where they're missing Kelly Williams because the two best big men that they have is Kelly Williams and Troy Rosario together. Now they have Boy Aram and Dave Marcelo. Yes, they have Troy, but it should have been better if it was Kelly Williams, more athletic, more mobile, more flexible. Now you can pressure a little bit more, just like on the trap, if it was Kelly Williams.
Let's see what Terrafirma will be able to do here. 7 minutes left in the ball game. They're down by 10. Still lots of time. Monzon with the inbound. Kyongson gets it. Balagasay providing the pick. That's 10 on the shot clock now. Balagasay. Step back jumper from the free throw line. That's pretty impressive for a big man.
Yes, step back, medium range jumper, wide open shot. If you can make that consistently, that's great.
Product of the Letran basketball program, Christian Balagasay. He's guarding Aram now. Boy looking for teammates. It's Pogoy. Boy got rid of Kyongson. And good disruption there. Really impressed with the defense of Terrafirma here late in the game.
Yes, you're giving because TNT is giving them confidence. If they're able to score, it gives your defense more confidence also, and that's what's happening to Terrafirma now. Now they're just 8 points down. That's why their defense is more aggressive, saying that they can get this done.
Pogoy. He tried to end the run of the Jeep. Kyongson, that's going to be a foul whistled on Castro.
You see, Terrafirma is changing up defenses from a man-to-man to a 1-3-1 zone, just trying to keep the offense off balance. Sometimes it works. You just take that gamble since you think you can defend them straight one-on-one or man-to-man defense.
Free throws have been a source of points for both teams, but there also have been a couple of unfortunate misses, especially for Terrafirma, because they missed one earlier on that Kelly Williams technical free throw. They missed one right here. If only those who went in, down by 5, you're looking at a more optimistic situation.
That's right. The very few times that Terrafirma gets the foul, they're not cashing in on it. Unlike TNT, where in the first half they were 12 for 15.
Aram gets a double-double on that. The offensive rebound, the putback. He's got 10 points and 11 rebounds.
Oh, that's great. Those are great stats. 10 points, 11 rebounds.
And a lot of those, coach, have come from the offensive end. 6 out of the 11 rebounds are offensive ones for Boy Aram.
Well, that's not good for Dyip, giving up so many offensive rebounds. If they did not give up as many offensive rebounds as they did, then maybe the game should be closer, or they might even be leading.
That's already 15 second chance points for TNT. A miss for Monzon.
Yeah, 15 second chance points off the first half or third quarter, 36 inside in the paint points. Just on offensive rebounds.
9-point lead for TNT. Castro gets hit on the arm. Foul whistled on Monzon. Hasn't been The most extravagant of debuts for Joshua Munzon. Only 3 for 14 from the field.
For
Joshua Munzon.
yep.
Only 6 points in 25 minutes. There has been no lack of opportunities, but let's give the guy some slack. I mean, it is his first game in the PBA.
That's correct. And the coaching staff also will get to learn how to set him up more. But I know when after this game, assuming that Terrafirma loses this game, all the coaches have to do is just open up their paper and say we gave them 15 points of offensive rebounds.
Castro trying to make things happen. Caught in no man's land. But how about that recovery? Making something out of nothing.
And a turnaround shot.
And that's a rare smile for Jason Castro when on the court. He usually is in game phase mode, but
Maybe he thinks it's Shamba.
yeah, I mean, is anything ever chamba still at this point with Jason Castro? But
There, oh.
parang ni-release niya na even before turning eh. So, you know, okay, I'll take that. Must have been saying as well to his former teammate, MGR, got you right there. The Terrafirma Jeep making their debut in the brand new season with their top overall pick, Joshua Munzon. However, Munzon, he has proven his scoring ways in many leagues before. And his debut in the PBA might need a little bit more time, Coach Jong.
Yes, a few more games, more practices, more coaches learning the way he plays, and that will help him a lot. This is, they did have. Yes, the problem is all of these teams, especially the rookies, did not have time to have scrimmages against the other PBA teams. So the process of them getting into the PBA type of game becomes slower.
And I was talking to Coach Charles Tew yesterday when we were covering a game together, and he was mentioning yung importance of these tune-ups more than yung masukat yung teams, yung team mo against another team. Also adjusting to the officiating because you're gonna get PBA referees to come over. So these things are important, especially for someone adjusting to the PBA.
That's right. Usually, when you're a rookie, you perform well because nobody knows you that well aside from your scrimmages. But they don't know you that well. But you're already accustomed to this little bit to the style of the PBA. But now they did not have that opportunity. Parang this is your practice game against PBA, and you need to score.
10-point lead right now for TNT. Bogoy coming out to get that. RR stopping on the elbow, missing. Lapot with another board. That's another rookie showing us what he can do in the PBA.
Yes, I like Laput. I mean, not impressive, dominating, but does his role very well. Just rebound, run the floor, defend, and a lot of teams will need that.
Turnover there, however, for Terrafirma, and when you're running out of time to catch up, it's just difficult to keep giving the ball away.
Yeah, I don't know how many turnovers, I don't know how many offensive rebounds they gave up, and I don't know how many turnovers.
At this point, Coach Jong, that's 18 offensive rebounds already for TNT, and they wanted to go up top for that Aram lob. And then 13 turnovers
13
for
is,
Terrafirma.
13 is not bad, but 18 offensive rebounds is
I think 13 turnovers might be an acceptable number. It's the amount of points that they've allowed from those turnovers. TNT has scored 16 out of those 13 points, so that's more than 1 point per error.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's right. Actually, when I When I count my turnovers, I say only for every turnover, the opponent will score every 1 point for every turnover. So if I make 15 turnovers in a game, you're giving them 15 points. So my target really for turnovers in a game is 12.
All right, so Terrafirma is still right around
Yeah.
your number.
Right.
But obviously, you know, if trying to win this ball game, you would have wanted to have less. And
They could have avoided that
Yeah.
if they did not have those 2 or 3 24-second shot clock violations. So now you're down to, 11, which is a very good number.
Aldrich Ramos being guarded by Cobuntin, and the veteran in Aldrich already knew that, hey, I know how to make the most of this matchup, and he was adamantly asking for the ball.
He shouldn't have fouled him. He was in the paint. He shouldn't have fouled him.
It is from the free throw line that Terrafirma has made some improvements in catching up. They're now 13 of 21 from the free throw line. And again, you know, just 8 misses, but those 8 misses could have gotten you in a position where you're in a much better place.
That's right. If you shoot like, anywhere in the 75%, then you're good. 75% from the free throw line.
Castro,
It's a team.
Rosario will kick it out. Jason will get it once again. Working against McCarthy, trying to leave him in his rear view mirror. Pass to the corner. Rosario, corner 3. No. McCarthy looks like he got hit in the back by Jason Castro. It is a foul on the blur. Like we said, Coach Jong, earlier, Jason Castro in this game came off the bench. Did not enter until maybe the halfway point
Yes.
or late in the first. But what did we say? We talked about this, that maybe by the end of the game, you look at the box score and he's still the leading scorer, right? He leads TNT right now at 17 points.
In just probably, 25
25.
minutes?
Yeah.
25 minutes.
And even if he plays the rest of this game, right around 28, 29,
Which is the right number for him. And Jason knows that. And Jason knows I'm all right coming off the bench, needing to score.
yeah, exactly. More than knowing it, he's okay with it. He's willing, like you said at the top of this coverage, Jason is willing to share that limelight. It's not like he wants TNT to win because of him.
Right, that's correct. Yeah, so
Bogoy missing that time though. You were saying, Coach.
yeah, and he knows he has capable teammates.
Oh, great defense there by Ryan Reyes. That would have been an easy shot for Lapot. McCarthy has been falling on the floor numerous times here in the fourth. Under 3 minutes to go, only 8 points separating these two teams. Castro to Aram. Blocking foul, and once again, McCarthy down, crashing in that collision with Aram. Well, McCarthy has been sacrificing his body there, trying to get possessions and advantages for his team. Remember, that's a guy who absorbed 2 flagrant fouls already earlier, one from Cobuntin, another one from Williams.
And then he fell down twice.
We brought up earlier, Coach Jong, how Bogoy and Park set career highs in the PBA bubble last year. This is a guy who did that as well. He had one crazy scoring outing. And tonight, he's been very steady, a double-double of 13 points and 11 rebounds.
Right, if you can get something off Aram consistently that way, then Dominic will be successful in this season, because you've got big men that can rebound and give you consistent 10, 11 rebounds every game.
And by the way, he's doing all that coming from the bench as well. He misses though, and this is another golden opportunity for Terrafirma to draw closer. Kyung-son, he has Rosario in front of him, and that crossover just forced Rosario to pick up a foul. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Kyungsun wasn't really known as the shiftiest player. It's something he worked on to incorporate in his game.
You're perfectly you're exactly right, because he's like a Baser Amer, wherein he's
Yes.
not an athletic, but he uses his very head.
More cerebral.
Yeah, and then he knows how to do his skill work. And now a while ago he wanted to do the snake.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the contrast between two great players in, let's say, a Johnny Abarrientos and an L.A. Tenorio. And they will not cross people over like Johnny, or maybe let's say Olsen Racela.
Yes.
But then it's a smarts as well. He has his own way of maneuvering around the defense.
He just gets the job done. Yeah.
Someone got hit there, and Rosario's holding on to his elbow. You know how sometimes you get that electrocution feeling there? It happened in this play, and it will land. Oh man, I mean, that's scary to think, because sometimes it gets hyperextended with a collision like that.
That's right. That's good. You just got it. Well, TNT better be careful, because they're just 5 points up. It's still a long time to go.
That's the thing about Terrafirma. It hasn't been a majestic run, but it's slowly and surely that they're climbing back. And again, the smarts of Kyungsun, he did get it done there, but what happened was he was able to think quickly enough to get an attempt at least.
Right. I mean, he attacked. He just found himself against a bigger guy that he couldn't get the shot off.
The referees are reviewing that last out-of-bounds play. Jason Castro tried to bounce it off of Tiongson. Let's see if he was able to successfully do that. Yeah, the ball kind of changed its spin, right?
Yes.
So perhaps it hit Tiongson, but they might have to look at a different angle to really get the right call on that one. And they're doing this because we're under the last 2 minutes. So they confirm it. It's going to be TNT basketball. Terrafirma extending their defense to the backcourt. They let Ryan Reyes go one-on-one with Tiongson, and a solid screen there for Eram.
Yeah, the big man did not call it. The big man should have called it. Screen, screen, screen. Protect your teammate.
But Chongson actually got away with pulling Eram to the ground with him. Would be a big one. It's a miss. And wow, Castro with a save there. A huge save. But they're running out of time. Pogoy. No. Rebound by Tiongson. Only a 2-possession ball game here. Adams out to McCarthy. Still a lot of time. They don't have to rush here. McCarthy trying to go backdoor. Tiongson will put it up. No. And Reyes will be able to track that down. Did Terrafirma rush, coach?
No, I don't think they rushed. I think it was a good shot. But if I were Chongson and I saw a big man in front of me, I'd attack the big man and draw and kick. That's me.
I guess we
I won't settle for the 3-point shot. I'd attack him.
because they had time
Because
on
we had
their side.
time, and then for sure they'll collapse and then just kick out for the 3, or you have a 2. So
Almost a steal there, but then Monzon overshot that swipe. Eram will get that finger roll. Looking like a guard there, and that might be the exclamation point on this win. McCarthy will miss that 3-pointer, and that will allow TNT to dribble out the rest of the clock. It's gonna be the TNT Tropang Giga, and look at Kahilig, how tired he is, falling to the ground. And exhaustion and frustration, as well as TNT gets this win in their debut in the 2021 Honda PBA Philippine Cup, 86-79. 1-0 is the record right now of the TNT Tropang Giga. Your thoughts on this game, Coach?
No, I'm sure it was a good game for both. I think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. Terrafirma has a lot of work to do, but I see, they see some good things with their lineup. TNT, I think, I'm pretty sure that Coach Todd will not be satisfied with just winning, and he'll push his players a little bit more.
Our next level player of the game is Jason Castro with 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 13 field goals. And he is brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. It still will be the blur, Coach Joe.
Yes, when things aren't going well, it's the blur time.
And let's turn it over now to Denise, who is with Jason.
Right now, I am with our best player of the game, Jason Castro, 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Obviously, a very good game for you, Jason. Jason, alam mo, since 2008, nakasama mo na itong si Coach Chot, TNT. You've been with Gilas as well. How easy was it for you and how comfortable was it for you na you're under his wings again?
Sobrang komportable kasi since rookie ko, siya yung nag-drop sa akin. At the same time, yung rinaran namin na offense, almost same offense din yung niraran namin ngayon. So, may mga konting adjustment pero sa tagal ng mga preparation namin nung TNT namin nakuha.
Medyo may mga nadinig kayong salita na before the start of the fourth quarter. But you cleaned up your act and fortunately, naitawid nyo yung laban. What was it that really triggered the character that the TNT displayed during the fourth quarter?
Siguro yung composure namin kasi during that time na umaabol yung Terrafirma, sobrang minotivate lang kami ni Coach. And then sinabi niya na kailangan namin mapanalo tong game na to kasi almost 20 points yung lead namin during third quarter and then sayang yung pinag-arapan namin.
May mga gustong batian at pasalamatan?
Sa wife ko at saka sa mga anak ko na nanonood ngayon. Tsaka sa mga relatives ko sa Pampanga. Ingat kayo lagi dyan. Stay safe.
Alright, great game and congratulations once again. I'll send you now to the press room with our winning coach, Coach Chot Reyes.
Magandang hapon. Kasama po natin ngayon si TNT Tropang Giga Head Coach Chot Reyes. Coach, welcome back and congrats po. Your thoughts on the game po?
Well, obviously we're happy that we won, but really very, I get very disappointed by the way we played the last 1 quarter and a half of this game. I thought we didn't play. We weren't faithful to how we wanted to play this game, and like I said, this kind of effort is not going to make me sit here when we play the top teams in this league, when we're playing the elite teams. And credit to Terrafirma. They're big, they're tall, they're strong, they're well coached. That lineup, that combination of McCarthy, Rosser, Monzon, Adams, Laput, that's a huge lineup. They're tall, they're athletic, they're long. That's a very tough team. But like I said, having said that, I thought the way we ended this game was very disappointing for me.
Coach, how does it feel to be back in the PBA sidelines after a long while?
Obviously, it feels good, but I think part of the learning process here is also me getting back into the groove of preparing for games. I'm not happy. I don't think I was as prepared as I should be for this game because, like I said, it's been 8-9 years since my last PBA game. So I'm learning as well, and we're just happy that our entire mindset is just to get as many wins as we can while in this learning process, because we're all learning about each other. I'm learning to try to get back to the groove of things. But in the end, there's no excuse for poor effort. So, you know, we might not play well, we might miss shots, but there's never any excuse for poor effort, and that's where my disappointment comes from. I thought that Terrafirma did a great job of beating us in the effort department, especially in the last quarter.
Now let's have some questions from our media friends. Guys, don't forget to unmute.
Hi, Coach Shot.
Hi.
Can you hear me, Coach?
Yep.
Coach, Denison of the Inquirer. Coach, dismal efforts aside, are there any parang silver linings from within the team that you're hoping to harness moving forward po?
Yeah, I thought today I was very pleased with the game of Kib Montalvo, and I should have gotten him back in the game in the second half. Except I also wanted to give Brian Heruela minutes on the floor, and guys like JJ Alejandro some minutes on the floor, and I wasn't able to get him back in because Terrafirma made that big run. So, you know, I should have done a better job. And so if you're asking me of positives, a silver lining, I thought was the game of Kib. I thought Glenn Cobuntin played really well, and Dave Marcelo as well. So there were some things that are like you say, silver linings from this game.
Well, you know what, Coach Chot, that's it. He will take the W, but he'll also look at all the stuff to improve on. And that's the same thing that Jason Castro said in his interview as we take a look at some of these highlights, Coach.
That's right. TNT started out very well. Terrafirma came back, and it was a game from then on. In the first quarter, we saw some highlights of Hilig shooting the three-point shot, which is his strengths. And then we see Terrafirma ahead by 3 at the end of the first quarter.
It was in the second quarter that TNT just made its run. A big one. They outscored Terrafirma 28-13 in the third quarter alone.
Yes, because we saw them notching up their defense and them attacking the paint as much as they can, which I think they had 36 points in the paint, if I'm not mistaken, and then had 12 out of 15 three-point shots. So that's why they had a 12-point lead at the end of the first half.
But come the third quarter, it was back and forth between these two teams. TNT would actually go on a massive 18-0 run at some point, you know, sparked by that alley-oop play, a beautiful one, Pogoy to Williams. Then Castro would, you know, get his own three-pointer. Ryan Reyes, Pogoy got theirs. But then Terrafirma counter.
Yes, that's good. That I thought that Terrafirma, being a young team, might fold, but they did not fold. They just kept playing and coming back until the end of the third quarter. They're just down by 12 points.
And in the fourth quarter, we saw Terrafirma just fight and fight, despite Jason Castro, you know, trying to make plays for TNT. Terrafirma was just breathing under their neck.
Yeah, that's right. And knowing TNT being a veteran team, they'll keep their poise. But Terrafirma just kept coming back. But TNT just happened to score whenever they needed to score and breaking the momentum of Terrafirma.
That's right. 86-79 was the final score. Those game highlights was brought to you by Honda, the official motorcycle of the PBA. We have one more game coming up next. It's something that you guys should watch out for. Magnolia going up against Phoenix. Coach Jong and I will be back for that one, so we'll see you in just a bit.